Hey, have I ever explained the concept of a Bunalysis before? I don't know if I ever explained what this is today. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever explained the concept of Bunalysis. So, when I was going for my master's, I had to write some non-serious public transportation, also known as a syllabus. And I wanted to teach about video games. Ow. Sorry, what's your master's, bun? Oh, her name is Yeen? It's in literature. So I had to write a couple syllabus for student teaching, and one of the things that I wanted to teach about was video games, because I like them, and they're my special interest, and I love talking about them, and I love thinking about them, and I love them. So I wanted to talk about things like ludology, and do critical analysis for video games and sort of teach that as a class. But here's a question I have for you. If you're coming up with a class structure, if you're coming up with an idea for how to teach a lesson about a video game, and you can't assume that everyone in your class has played that game or is familiar with it, how do you do that? Do you assign the video game as homework? Because you can't expect all of your students to, have the technology to play the games, right? Even if you provided copies of it, you'd have to provide, a console or a computer to all of your students and a copy of the game, right? Or even the ability to play through said game. It could be an accessibility issue for certain games, It's complicated. Do you take a lot of class time and sit down and play through the game together for the class, in front of people? For people who are paying to go to a class, like a college course, that's kind of a big ask. Depending on the game, that could take, 10, 15, 20 hours. Yeah, reading a Wikipedia page is not really going to cut it, because what you generally want from a class is for the students to have an experience of the thing, right? So it's not so much knowing the things that happen in the game, it's what did you feel when playing this? What did the way the game controls or feels communicate to you? What were your take on, the themes and stuff like that? And reading a Wikipedia page isn't going to communicate that sort of thing. It's not going to give you the experience of the art. That's something that video games do differently than a lot of other pieces of art, is that they're interactive. They require audience input. So that's difficult. It would be great if it was possible to just get video games into the hands of people for educational purposes, if they were part of the Library of Congress or something like that, or public domain. So that's a problem. One of the solutions to that, obviously, is you stand in front of the class and you tell them about the game, and you just present it as a lecture. This is the sort of thing you get from a video essay or something like that, where you have a couple clips or screenshots or things like that. You present them as a slideshow or visual aids. I don't like that. I've never been good at lectures. I'm a much more comfortable extemporaneous speaker than somebody who plans out these sorts of things. My notes are very minimal, and I don't learn very well that way, necessarily. I think I do learn fairly well listening to that sort of thing, but when I'm teaching, I really prefer to do it Socratically, which involves interaction. So thank goodness that Twitch exists, because I can sit down and I can play a game with all of y'all, and we can discuss it back and forth with each other as we play. And I can sort of bring up ideas and thoughts that I have, and we can talk about yours too. That's what I enjoy. That's what I want to do with Bunalysis. That's how I enjoy putting these together. Sure, and we get to talk about Vor, which I wouldn't do with a class. I'm going to be honest, not a thing I would do in a college course.